The seeds of discord were actually laid in September 2024. The Indian Prime Minister refused to meet him during that point of time. He offered his F-35 planes to be part of the Indian Air Force. So clearly, there is a subversion of American interest to actually promote Trump family interest in America. Now everyone is flocking for our BrahMos missiles. They are flocking for our Akash missile defense systems, Pinaka multi-barrel rocket launchers. I can show you where I have even predicted crypto when it was in 2021. It went up to $15,000 from 69,000. That time I stated it can go up to $200,000, $200,000. We got lithium reserves in Kashmir. We found additional oil reserves in Bombay High. We found oil reserves in Dibrugarh. We found oil reserves in Samastipur. We found oil reserves in Balia, the Ganges. Even we have found oil reserves in West Bengal, the largest of all the oil reserves, hydrocarbons. We found it in Andaman. They say the reserves is equivalent to the reserves of the Middle East.
Namaskar, hello and welcome friends to Joy, Clarity and Success Podcast. My name is Shushmita Aditya Mukherjee. As we speak, India has been levied a 50% tariff on US exports. I do not think these tariffs are a long term. I do not think adversarial relationships between India and USA are beneficial for either in the long term. But right now, this is where we are and where all of this is going in the long term and in the short term. To discuss this, we have with us Mr. Umesh Agarwal today. Mr. Umesh Agarwal is a columnist, a writer, a prolific speaker, and the editor of India Chronicle. And in this podcast, we'll talk about India and US relationships and the interesting equations that are defining it in the short term and in the long term. Let's get started.
Well, namaskar, sir. How are you?
I'm absolutely fine. How are you doing?
Fine, sir. I'm also doing quite okay, and thank you for coming to the show. So recently multiple events have unfolded. Like we were discussing for some time that we are going to have an interaction, and I was very eager to discuss with you these things, but in the middle some other things came up, like the tariffs of Mr. Trump. So what do you think is currently going on between Mr. Trump and India? Because it started all goody things were happening. India is a strong ally, India is a democracy, a great democracy with 2R, and now it's 25% plus 25% tariffs. What is actually going on here?
The seeds of discord were actually laid in September 2024. There was a campaign going on in America, and last year, September 2024, Narendra Modi ji traveled to America. Donald Trump stated, "My friend from India is coming to meet me," which the Indian Prime Minister refused to meet him during that point of time. That did not go with the Trump campaign very well. And I was aware that there would be repercussions. Okay. And come November, he becomes the president-elect. January 20th, he is being sworn as the 47th president. And everything was going normally. He had that trade war with China, that China imposed 245%, and both were imposing tariff against each other. At that time, Modi ji went to America, if you remember, in February. And during the course of the meeting, Donald Trump stated the Indian Prime Minister is a tough negotiator. He offered his F-35 planes to be part of the Indian Air Force. The point was, Trump expected India to become a subservient state to serve American interest to contain China. But the Indian Prime Minister had a different viewpoint. He valued strategic autonomy rather than serving American interests. If you remember, during even the COVID times, the opposition parties were stating that we need Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. And right now, if you see, Kennedy Jr., Robert Kennedy Jr. has suspended all sorts of vaccines. India developed its own vaccine, Covaxin and Covishield, and we had injected that vaccine in around 140 crore Indians and exported it to around 110 countries across the world, absolutely free. Okay, so India came to be known as the pharmacy of the world, Sanjeevani of the world. Okay, India built that trust, but the American administration had very different plans for India. They wanted India to act against China and become the frontline soldier so that Indians will be hurt in the process in case there is a conflict with China. The Americans were ready to send the technology and other things. But India politely refused. They said they never wanted to get into a direct military confrontation with China. The Indian aptly maintained we do have a border dispute with China, but we will resolve it on our own terms. We will not take the American intervention in that. And that was finally noted by China also. India maintained its equidistance. India was, to its diplomacy, India maintained the strategic autonomy. And after the Galwan clash, there was a thaw in the Indian ties with China. Yesterday, there was a news that Prime Minister Modi ji will be visiting China for the school summit on August 31st and September 1st, and there is a possibility of a recalibration of ties. And already the groundwork was already laid with Ajit Dovalji visiting last month, followed by Rajnath Singh ji, the defense minister, and our external affairs minister S. Jaishankar Saab also visited China. So this was expected, and India is allowing 24% of Chinese investment in components, and they are also saying that the investments which will come it has to come with an Indian partner which will have 76% stake with technological transfer. So if you are doing that, you are welcome in India. We have started visas for the China, and the direct resumption of flights might be announced during the SCO summit. And also China had granted Indian pilgrims to visit Mansarovar this year. So there is some sort of a recalibration in India-China ties. Coming to US was very much pissed off with India afterwards, and then this April 22nd, when the Hindu tourists were shot down in Pahalgam by Pakistani jihadi terrorists, and India launched Operation Sindoor on May 6th, and by May 10th, the ceasefire, Pakistan pleaded for the ceasefire, and India has temporarily halted its offensive against Pakistan. Now, coming to the point, Donald Trump wanted to claim credit for that. He wants Nobel Prize very badly. He has done it around 30 times. Okay. And Indian Prime Minister flatly refused that he received no call from any leader. And he just stated that David Vance called him 4 times and I did not attend his call, and I called him back and we had a conversation. These were the words of the Indian Prime Minister. And also, if you remember, during May 10, there was a strike on Pakistani airfields, and we had hit the Noor Khan Air Base, and there are unconfirmed reports and speculation. One of our missiles, BrahMos missiles, actually hit the nuclear site of Pakistan. This nuclear site of Pakistan had American weapons, and around 60 American personnel were working underground at the Noor Khan Air Base. And after that, we saw during in Rawalpindi and Islamabad, there were tremors of earthquake measuring around 4.2 for continuously 21 days. And till today, that airbase lies in shambles. And one Pakistani general stated that we Pakistanis are also not allowed in the Noor Khan Airways. So it is speculated that that was actually American nukes which were kept in Pakistan to counter rise of India, Soviet Union, in the and China, and in the Middle East was there. So from there, the situation started deteriorating, and afterwards, if you see, Trump has expanded his personal Trump business interest in Pakistan. If you are aware, there is a firm called World Liberty Financial. That firm is owned by 60% by Donald Trump's family, and it is being managed by Zachary Witkoff. Zachary Witkoff is the son of Steve Witkoff, who is a legendary billionaire, as they say, and he is the one who is negotiating between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. He is the US envoy to Russia, and he is taking care of the mediation effort.
I would like to interrupt you in this, sir. Uh, Crypto, I can understand that they are saying that the dollar currency portfolio is full of debt, so we need something else to work it out. And basically, the fiat currency, which dollar is or rupee is also a fiat currency from 1971 after the announcement made by Mr. Nixon. So every currency is fiat now, and the only thing that validates a currency is the state validation. So they have validated dollar. They kept India, like India validates rupees. They had validated the dollar with no underlying valuation. Previously there was gold underlying it. Now there is nothing. So only the state valuation is the value. State validation is the value. Now we are slowly seeing that the crypto is also, at least in US, they are getting state validation. So I think there is something there to reckon with, like they are bringing up stable coins, they are declaring ETFs of cryptos, they are declaring funds against cryptos, and they are basically they are not allowing transactions or debt taking through crypto, but they are at least encouraging investments. And right now the market cap of Bitcoin is $3 trillion, which is 1/10 of America's GDP, in PPP terms. So what do you think is the long-term goal of USA? Do they want to again bring in a currency coup, and like they brought in 1971? What is their plan?
See, I'll come to that later. Now I'm coming to the tariff part only. So I had to mention this because Trump has launched his own meme coins and other things. He's promoting his family interest over American interest. When he was a president 6 months back, his personal wealth was around $2.5 billion, which is right now $10 billion plus and increasing every day. So clearly there is a subversion of American interest to actually promote Trump family interest in America. Yesterday, as I stated, the Trump has announced 50% tariff on India, the maximum tariff. And he is saying that he can increase the tariff as well. It is not a tariff anymore, it is an embargo. The Americans are imposing trade embargo on India as and when they deem it is in their best interest, without any consultation. We already had 4 rounds of trade talks which were led by Piyush Goyal. And that when I remember in January it was stated that trade between India and US is currently at $130 billion, with India enjoying $40 billion of trade surplus. They want to increase the trade to $500 billion. Fine, everything is fine. But Donald Trump is insisting that you take the soybeans from us, you take the cattle waste from us, you allow genetically modified seeds and everything. In a culturally sensitive India, we cannot import cattle waste from America, which is laden with all sorts of meats and other things. Okay. Second, agriculture is definitely no because 50% of the economy of our livelihood of our people are dependent on agriculture. That is 700 million. That is twice the population of America also. So first of all, America needs to understand that. Donald Trump is refusing to understand. Third, the genetically modified crops, India has stated no. India has agreed to reduced the tariffs on American autos. They told that we can allow you for cashew nuts and other things. We will try to buy more oil and gas and we will reduce the deficits. But these three things are not possible. Another point of concern for the Americans is the Indian defense. The Indian defense weapon systems, which outperformed expectations of world powers. Now everyone is flocking for our BrahMos missiles. They are flocking for our Akash missile defense systems, Pinaka multi-barrel rocket launchers, and even if you see Tejas fighter aircrafts as well. So the sometimes right now the Americans are actually concerned, for the meteoric rise of Indian weapons and battle tested, durable, ready, and two deals which were signed by India. Actually, they were troubled by that also. One is with Armenia. We had sent them the Akash missile defense systems. We sent them the Pinak multi-barrel rocket launching systems, even the artillery guns. Okay, Armenia is buying Indian weapons, and on the contrary, it's having a war with Azerbaijan, and Azerbaijan is being supported by Turkey and Pakistan. So already the war is going on in that area. Secondly, if you see, Philippines recently bought last year three batteries of BrahMos missile defense systems. It was around $375 million, and India and Philippines are conducting maritime exercise. Last week they have conducted, and the Philippines president right now, Marcos Ferdinand Jr., is in India. And if you see the dealings which have happened, the agreements have happened. They have happened on defense. Second one is on UPI, maritime control and other things. Right now, if speculation is there that Philippines is interested in additional nine batteries of our defense systems, of the BrahMos systems. They are interested in Akash missiles. They are interested in Pinak multi-barrel rocket launchers, and even they are interested in Tejas also. They have evinced interest. This is scaring Americans. Rajnath Singh has stated that 22 countries are negotiating with India for BrahMos missiles. And after Operation Sindoor, if you remember on May 11th or 12th, Yogi Adityanath ji inaugurated the BrahMos missiles production complex in Lucknow. And according to reports, 120 missiles can be produced per year, scaled up to A180 in future, in foreseeable future. Additional BrahMos missiles facility is coming at Hyderabad. Also, if you see AK-203 rifle, the Kalashnikov rifle, we had signed that deal with Russia in 2019 or 18. That is in production right now, and India is using like 6.5 lakh rifles, and it will replace the 30-year-old INSAS rifles, and that will also be exported. So what is happening is right now NATO countries, the European countries are exploring to buy Indian made systems, and this is a problem with the Americans. If you are aware, in NATO, America has forced the NATO countries to allocate 5% of their GDP towards defense. Means that they should buy American arms more, which the French are not liking at all. And France is seriously exploring to buy some of the artillery guns which are being made by Kalyani Group. So this is a problem with the Americans, that India is rising, defense as well. One more thing which the Americans do not like is India's digital public infrastructure. That is our Unified Payment Interface (UPI), which is making waves across the world. Just in 7 countries, it is operational, and by volume, we have beaten Visa card also. We are not allowing. We are not. We have introduced our own Rupee card, and we are interlinking UPI with other countries as well. I think right now 7 to 8 countries are right now they are being linked with UPI. We are carrying. We are right now trading in local currencies with around 22 countries. Local currencies means like in Russia, we are trading around $75 billion approximately. All of these things earlier used to happen in dollar. Right now, it is being this is being converted into ruble rupee agreements. Similarly, with whichever country we are having deals, we are doing deals in local currency like Maldives. The Maldives president was there. India provided soft aid to Maldives this time, around 4,800 crores. Earlier, it was denominated in dollars. Right now, it is in rupees. Similarly, we have done deal with Bhutan, Nepal, small countries. The biggest shock happened when India actually started making payment of crude to the Saudis in rupees. It happened 2 years, and this led to the fall of demand for American dollars by 27%. And Indian UPI transfers the payment in seconds, while the SWIFT system takes around 6 hours to 1 day. So that's a problem. And one more thing, India is building the digital public infrastructure of many African countries. That the API will be from India. So it will be the Indian communication, Indian encryption, Indian protocols will be followed. That's a problem. They are not liking it.
Now here there is a conflict, sir, which I was trying to point out also. Apart from the crypto, which I would also reiterate a little later. America is the greatest advocate of globalization, which means they say free markets is the rule of things. Now, if free markets is the rule of things, they should be okay with the best product or the most efficient solution being accepted freely by other countries. That should be naturally the thing, that whatever we are also playing in the same market, they are also playing in the same market. Let the buyers choose what they want to choose. If somebody is choosing our product, what if they are advocates of actual free markets, then how can they interfere in that and try to create costs for us? So they are also showing their double standard in that.
See, that is what is called American exceptionalism, American hegemony, or in Indian plain terms, bole to in American dadagiri. India is quietly replacing all these things. This is the problem with the Americans. They are unable to digest the slow rise of India. And the Indian Prime Minister actually foresaw that there will be a problem with the Americans in the future. And recently we have signed a trade pact with the UK. Okay, we have signed trade pact with free trade agreements with UAE, Australia, and many other countries. Even Peru is interested in FTA with us. Okay. Recently, the Indian Prime Minister went to around 4 5 countries. He went to Ghana, he went to Namibia, he went to Argentina. What's the common thing between the countries?
What is?
What is the common thing between the countries?
I don't know.
Argentina has lithium. I think Namibia has uranium. Ghana has some other thing, gold or something. So what I'm saying is India is trying to even support the African Union. Last year, 2 years back in the G20 summit, they made it G21. They gave the African Union a seat So now India is expanding that trust into soft power by giving liberal aids for mutually inclusive development of both India and Africa, India and Latin America, India and Asia. So these soft credits are going, we are actually importing these ores from there and we are selling our products, finished products there. That's a value chain addition. But here lies a problem. We have solved that ore problem and we are selling them the finished goods. But for the finished goods, the intermediate components, we are dependent on China. Even if we are making the iPhones, the components are coming from China. The tunnel boring machine for our infrastructure comes from China. The fertilizer, specialty fertilizer to increase the yield comes from China. The EV batteries, which has the magnets, China has banned us. Our production has been stalled. That comes from China. So somewhere there was a problem. We needed to have a bilateral relationship with China. And here we should thank Trump. And Trump should be given the Nobel Prize also for ensuring that India and China became friends. Because now Modi is going there. Definitely we should give him the Nobel Peace Prize. For
And sir, in the long term, I do not think we are strategic enemies. I do not think US is a threat for India in the long term. Or India, in fact, India is also does not intend. None of the governments intend to be a threat to US in the long term. So, but I see their policy is whatever I have seen through the disclosures of Elon Musk through Doge, that how much money was being directed towards India for so-called quote-unquote political assistance or assistance in elections. So I realized they use carrot and stick being threat of a coup or threat of internal instabilities, and they keep it going in every country. Recently Mr. Lula was also saying, he was open about it. So this is their policy of operandi, and which I think is part of their long-term plans. That is, it is a long-term strategy that they apply to, I think, negotiate with other countries. Same happened with our neighbors also. Donald Blue and all those things came. So I'm just coming to this question, sir. Donald Trump said, okay, if I come, I will ensure that these things do not happen in your country, and they disclosed, just as a signal, I think they disclosed that this much money went to your country for election manipulation or election assistance. I think 20% of their of those funds went into India for creating certain instabilities within our country, and Doge declared, released those informations, official informations, documents. That was a signal that we are trying to change our ways of doing things with you. We are going to do things with trade deals directly. But is it possible? Is the long-term strategy of America is going to change, or is Trump just an added problem along with that long-term so-called deep state strategy of America?
see, I would call them the shadow state or the deep state or the invisible state which is operating in America. Trump was actually against them in his first term. But in the second term, there are some differences which are happening. The American always tried to ensure that India does not become a long-term threat to them. So in the first term, Donald Trump never took India as seriously. He was very much okay with India coming up. He granted them concessions as well. Even the Biden administration asked India to buy the Russian oil. If India did not buy the Russian oil, the world economy, the prices actually spiked to $140, the crude prices. Now it has stabilized to 70. That time, if you remember, Biden banned oil exploration in America. He banned the fracking on federal land. Okay. Now Trump comes. Trump has an obsession over Biden and Obama. He did it in the first 3 months. He used Elon Musk, and you saw the infamous fight between them over in on Twitter. And right now, he wants India to buy F-35 jets. Why? I will come to that later. The basic point of Trump is Trump wants India to actually accepts its leadership of the free world, while India positions itself as the leader of the global south. They want the dollar dominance to continue. And for that, as you mentioned, in our northeast, they are creating problems. If you remember, the Indian Navy caught around 6,000 tons of synthetic drugs, meth, in the Indian Ocean region last year. It was worth around 36,000 crores when it reaches Indian shores and 72,000 crores when it reaches American shores. Okay, that was the largest thing which was done. Yeah, whatever you can say, I'm not aware of all these things. And they wanted Saint Martin Island in Bangladesh, which the Sheikh Hasina government flatly refused. So there was a regime change which happened on August 5, 2024, last year. I do believe that we can see any turbulence in the northeast. This will be a period of turbulence, and the Indian security establishment has actually taken note of it, and they have already performed many exercises. They have even placed Rafale planes in, I think, in the northeast. That is a Hashimara base. It has been there, and one battery of S-400 is already there placed also. And we are keeping a watch over the place. There were reports about China constructing dams on Brahmaputra. That's fine. They do have the rights because the origination is from them. But that's not a concern for us. It will affect Bangladesh because most of the waters which enters Brahmaputra in India is from the vein water which the Chinese cannot control. Similarly, I believe that there will be a turbulence in the northeast. And now I'm coming to the most important thing. You must be thinking about cryptos and other things. Okay. So India is promoting state crypto, state CBDC, central bank digital currency, that e-rupee. Okay. It can be used as a wallet. Already, the infrastructure is being laid for that. But in America, what they have done is they inducted crypto into the strategic reserves. The forfeited bitcoins and Ethereums or Solana coins, which they had confiscated, they are placed in the strategic reserves already. And you have stated that the crypto is already, I think it's around $115,000 right now, Bitcoin. Okay. The market capitalization, I think, of the entire crypto industry is around $4 to $4.5 billion. And BlackRock is running the ETF also. Everything is going on fine. And the Trump comes up with another act, which is the Genius Act, Clarity Act, and Anti-CBDC Act. Basically, Genius Act, what does it say? It says every other bank's financial institution in America can issue stable coins and they can use it for transaction. But if they issue, it has to be backed by dollar. It can be based on only on dollar. So basically, to issue a stable coin, American financial institution, banks or social media companies have to invest in American debt. That is the USDT. Okay. And they have formalized the rules and everything. Right now, what is happening is the volume of stable coins have grown exponentially. I don't have the figures, I don't remember, but it has grown exponentially. So means large amount of American money is now flowing into American USDT debt, which is being issued by the American government themselves. If you see right now, China has, it used to keep around 1.4 to 1.5 trillion reserves of its foreign exchange reserves in American dollars, in American treasury bonds. Right now it is around 700 to 750, means they have halved it out. Also, if you see, the Japanese are also offloading their US treasury bonds. America wants someone to absorb all these bonds. So right now they are selling, and the American banks and American social media companies are buying it, and they have created another instrument for transaction. Similarly, as you have stated that Bitcoin price is rising. Okay, it is like 1,15,000, but Larry Flink has stated that it can go up to 700,000 USD. Conservatively, I believe that that is a figure, and if I have to be much more hopeful and optimist, it is around $1.5 million. It can go one Bitcoin. And if my knowledge is correct, that you can buy only around 21 million units, of which around 19.85 million units have already been mined. And as and when you mine it, the next is where you can only mine the half of it. And the last Bitcoin will be mined around in 2040. So that is the reason, the scarcity and other things. Okay. So basically, the Bitcoin value is going to rise. It will be equivalent to the American debt. Okay. The American debt is 37 trillion. If the mined Bitcoins and other Ethereum and other coins, if the value increases, so whichever country has these coins, their economy will increase. People will start using stable coins. In India also, if you see Geo Finance, Geo has started Geo coins. They are asking people to surf from the browser and earn Geo coins. So world over, there is a race for adoption of these mechanisms for payment and settlement by creating another instrument where you will not be transacting in fiat currency, but some other instrument which is based on the fiat currency and can be transacted over the blockchain network. And when more and more people start buying it, the value increases. And I see a point coming where the value of the crypto, the total value of the crypto will be equivalent to the American debt.
Yes, that is what we are looking at, because right now it is already $3 trillion if I am not wrong. And it's
4.5 trillion.
Total market cap. The Bitcoin alone is 3 trillion.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the total market cap is 4.5 trillion. Yes.
Yeah, it will beat Nvidia and Microsoft very soon.
Yeah, it is already, I think. The total market cap is already beyond Nvidia. Nvidia is 4.06 trillion.
Okay. So now coming to the point, the greatest money heist which is going to happen is when quantum computers are able to break in the algorithms of this crypto Bitcoin network, then all the, the crypto reliability, anonymity and public key, private key and other things, the security aspect is being, when it is impacted, the value keeps crashing. And that is the way the American debt will be written off. And this will cause worldwide financial problems. It will be similar to the great recession, depression, mega depression. People will call it with some other different name, apocalypse, or Armageddon. You will see a lot of fancy words coming up. Okay, nuclear strike, nuclear economic strike, something like that. All fancy. I don't have that thing. The Americans are good at manufacturing all the fancy terms. And that time, the valuations of the stock market will crash by 75 to 80%.
When you are predicting that is going to happen?
No, I'm coming to the timeline. It has to reach around 1 million before it crashes. So long time. And and one more thing. Right now, the Federal Reserve Chairman Powell, I think his name is Powell, is refusing to reduce the interest rates, and his term is going to expire in May 2026. Okay, so from when he retires, the new nominee will reduce the rates to 0%. And that time you will see an asset class boom across the world. It will happen in crypto, it will happen in real estate, it will happen in stock markets,
Precious metals, I think.
everything. Crypto will move faster.
Okay, so you are very bullish on crypto for the at least for the mid to long term.
Frankly speaking, I can show you where I have even predicted crypto when it was in 2021. It went up to $15,000 from 69,000. That time I stated it can go up to $200,000, $200,000. So for Bitcoin going to 1 million came after I saw Larry Flank upgrading it to around 700,000. On record, Larry Flank has stated. So I have used the median like $1 million. Okay. Yeah, I'm coming. We'll do it because all these things are related. The Russian things will speak later. So what I am saying right now is this crypto bust will happen, and it might start with a war also. Everything has been planned. Everything, the bankers, the central bankers across the world, the so-called Rockefellers or the Rothschild or the Illuminati group, the group of 300, the Bilderberg group, Chatham House, they have planned everything. So it's a comical thing. Okay, everything is planned. Everybody knows also. It's not a secret. Everybody in hush voice, they know that things are going to happen this way. But nobody wants to admit it and put their neck on the line. So my point is, right now you can continue investing in crypto, but as and when the bubble starts, you should start exiting and look forward. And I also declare it in your income tax returns. Otherwise, income tax will send you notices. They have already dispatched 44,000 notices to people who have traded in crypto and have not disclosed in the returns. And in the new ITR, it is being listed. Crypto has been listed as virtual digital asset. So means that India might legalize crypto very soon. Here I would just add the countries like Bhutan and El Salvador. They have done a great thing that they migrated towards Bitcoin crypto in 2021 and they adopted. Now they are reaping the benefits. Now coming to the Russian part. The Americans have imposed the sanctions, and you know our NSA advisor Ajit Dovalji is in Moscow right now. They are exploring defense cooperation, they are exploring energy cooperation, they are exploring interlinking of UPI with the Mir payment system. Russia is interested in around 1 million blue skilled laborers from India. Obviously, they'll be earning in rubles, so they have to send it to India. So that linking is going to happen very soon. Putin is coming to India later this year. And also, if you see, there are talks about India buying the Sukhoi 57E, fifth generation fighter aircraft. Russia has offered to upgrade the BrahMos supersonic missile to BrahMos hypersonic missile, which will be Mark 8 with a speed with a range of around 1,500 kilometers. Okay, they are developing the variants, and even Russia is interested in giving their S-70 unmanned combat aerial vehicle, which will be paired with the Sukhoi 57. They have offered to give their BB-RAM missiles, I think RD-77, which is around 350 to 400 kilometers. If you remember the Chinese missile PL-15E, that range was around 150 kilometers. Russia is offering its own variant, which is around 350 to 400 kilometers. And even the upgradation of the tanks, upgradation of Sukhois are going to happen. It will be converted into Super Sukhois. The engines of the Sukhois are also going to go technological upgradation, and there is a Russian variant engine 177S, in which India has stated that you have to transfer 80% technology. That is likelihood to happen.
Where do you see the Ukraine-Russia thing going?
I'm coming to that. I'm just touching on one aspects. I touch the defense. I touch the. I touch the, what do you say, the aspects of payment linking systems. One thing which we have to think, we have to see is with Russia, we have established the INSTC, International South North South Transport Corridor, and Chennai Vladivostok Sea Route. So Russia is seeking India's participation in the Arctic. So that's the thing. America has a problem with that also. And in the Operation Sindoor, the Russian weaponry proved proved how effective they were. The BrahMos or Su-400, and even Russia is interested in giving S-500 missile defense system, which will be manufactured in India, co-produced in India, components localization will be done, IP rights will be given for exports, and also they were ready to accept the payment in rupees. This is the thing. Now coming to the Ukraine war. Ukraine war is a scripted war between America and Russia. Nobody will believe it. If you see my earlier podcast, I used to say, why is that the Russian uranium is powering American reactors? How could Russia allow to supply uranium to America when it is funding its war in Ukraine? This is my theory. They blew the Nord Stream gas pipeline. Europe was buying gas from Russia. Now where they are buying? From whom? They are buying from America at 3x the price. That's why the European, in Europe the energy prices have increased. Europe is in recession, and this has led to large closure of industries in Germany, and they are migrating to America. Taiwan also, to attract investment from Taiwan, they asked the companies like TSMC to have an additional plant in Germany and America. The plan will be operational by 2027. Okay. So in America, the manufacturing capacity for high-end industries is increasing. This was started in the Biden regime long back. The idea is to dismantle euro. Because euro presents itself as a challenger to dollar, and America does not want euro to grow in strength and size. So America wants the eurozone to collapse, euro to collapse, the entire NATO, Europe, and other things, be it satellite states.
That is so
Okay.
obvious. They want them to be satellite states of America.
Yeah, that is the thing. Now coming to the part why it is a fixed match. This is an interesting theory. If you have heard, many Western media journals would have stated that Russia is a junior partner, China is a senior partner. You must have heard all these things. The economy of Russia is $2 trillion, 2.5, 2.23 something. China, it is around 18 to 20, I don't know. There are major figure variance coming. It is around 8, 9, 10 times more than Russia. Okay. But Russia, if you see Russia, it is 3x the size of China with one tenth the population of China. China has a GDP of 18 trillion, but the debt is around 50 plus trillion. Means if you want to generate $1 of GDP output in China, you have to finance them $3. This 303% figure has been agreed by the central bank governor of the People Banks of China, deputy governor of central of People Banks of China. This all is there on the internet. I'm not saying any. I'm not quoting any stories. These are all unofficial things. So definitely, China imports lots of natural resources. You know, the crude prices during COVID went to -0, negative. Okay, that time many countries absorbed that negative zero price, and they increased their strategic reserve. China was also a beneficiary. China has a 25-year-old agreement with Iran where they have signed a $400 billion agreement. They get discounted Iranian oil apart from discounted Russian oil. When the crude prices rises, which economies are going to get affected? The importing ones. India imports 87.5%. That China, they also import. So the cost of production rises. The people do not have the extra money, disposable income. What do you say? Ultimately, it is Russia which is benefiting. America is it benefiting? Because America and Russia are the largest producer and exporters of crude oil. If you see the data, Saudi Arabia is also comes, and Iran is also an oil exporter. So it suits America and Russia to have a manufactured war in Ukraine. Russian GDP is rising. Russian economy started showing growth. The war economy. Russia can capture Ukraine in a day. They are not a fools that they have prolonged this conflict to around 30 months. Not 30 months, 42 months. They have 6,500 nuclear weapons more than America. With better technology, better missiles. They have the Satan missile, they have the Tupolev missiles. And if you see, the yield of the Hiroshima bombs were in around kilotons, 10 or 15 kilotons. Now they have tested bombs which are in megatons. So leave all this talk. Okay, Russia can occupy any country they want any time. They can win over. The problem is, after occupying, can they withstand it? No, they do not have that capability because they have lost soldiers. They do not have the adequate men also. Even the North Koreans were fighting for them. North Korean army was fighting with the Russians. The Iranian drones were given to them. So this is a tacit understanding between the global powers. It actually hurts Europe, it hurts India, it hurts China, Who are the beneficiaries? The resource-rich nations. Who are they? Russia and America. And you see, Biden asked India to buy oil. And right now, Trump is opposing. Why would Russia give its uranium to America when it considers America as its arch enemy? My simple question is that. Nobody has been able to answer this question right from that date. I had stated in my earlier podcast all these things. So, my point is, these are my theories, maybe right, maybe partially right, maybe absolutely wrong. That is for you to contemplate.
No, no, this is a fantastic way, new kind of observation also. And we already know that those who are long-term powers that be, they actually fund both sides of conflict and benefit from it. It has been known for a long time. And sir, also a few things because I had a few questions because it was getting so interesting. I did not want to interrupt in between. One thing I wanted to ask you, this F-35 deal that America is trying to push. Firstly, they did not give us the engines of Generation 5 aircraft. They were they call it negotiation, we call it bullying and arm twisting, whichever way. And then they send their satellite states F-35 plane in our territory, and it lands somewhere, quote unquote, accidentally, and stays here for weeks and maybe months. What is
40 days, 40 days.
Yeah, so was it like a demo they gave us that look, this is a good aircraft, you should buy it?
See, earlier there was in a aero show also, you saw Sukhoi 57E and F-35 were placed together nearby. It was happened only once in the entire history where Sukhoi 57 and F-35 came together at a single place. Okay. What I believe, America wanted to sell its F-35, and with that F-35 they have sold, they would have sent their maintenance staff to India. When you send the maintenance staff, you can send intelligence covert operatives also. And you don't have that operational sovereignty to run the planes. America gives you a code every day, and only after you put the code, you can run the aircraft. And all the data and everything goes to American servers. And can you expect Lockheed Martin's F-35 fighting against Pakistan's Lockheed Martin's F-16? Not possible. So basically, America wanted to have a base in India in disguise, which the Indian government flatly refused. We are not buying critical weapon systems from America. That is a clear view of the Indian establishment. Regarding they sabotaging our Indian and other things, let me tell you one thing. If you see, recently we bought Marine Rafale from France. It was like 64,000 crores for 26 aircraft. Okay. Per aircraft cost, what is the per aircraft cost? 2,400 crores. If you see, I'm not going into that maintenance and technical jargons to justify or not. I'm going to give you only figures. Let the people decide. The cost of LCA Tejas Mk1A, which is a fourth generation fighter aircraft, is around 600 crores. Why I get this figure of 600 crores? Because India had participated in bids when Brazil or Argentina or Indonesia or Egypt had evinced interest. They had made a proposal. India has stated. There it was stated it was around 600 crores. Okay. Tejas LCA Mk1A is the fourth generation fighter aircraft. LCA Tejas Mk2 is 4.5 generation fighter aircraft. The Rafale Marine aircraft is also 4.5 generation fighter aircraft. At 200 crores more. It is around 700 to 800 crores. Imagine the money the West is making on purchase of critical weapon systems from India. Okay. I told you I'm not going into the maintenance, missiles and everything. The Meteor missiles which comes with Rafale, it costs around 26 crores. The Indian Astra BB-RAM missile, that is costing around 11 crores. Even the BrahMos, it's costing around, I think, 5 crores or something. So Indian weapon systems are reliable, and even we asked France for the source code to integrate our BrahMos missiles in Rafale, which they flatly refused. Now LCA Tejas Mk2 is 4.5 generation aircraft, which is as good as Rafale. I think it should be in the range of 700 to 800 crores. The Indian PSUs should be earning something. Okay, let's it will be a nominal profit of around some like 50 crores on an aircraft. Okay, let's assume that. Still, it is one third of the cost. With all the source code, everything we are having. If we develop any missiles, we can integrate also. America did not give us the engine technology. Our aircraft strength has been reduced to 29 squadrons. The MiG will be retired very soon in September. They have started giving us right now because they believe if they don't give that engines, India might scrap the Boeing contract also. Because suddenly they started giving two engines. How is it possible? So the American understand that we need to stand against them. And this is what Jeffrey Sachs has stated. This is what we believe that Prime Minister has also stated, that we will not accept American hegemony. If you see in America also, Warren Buffett has warned Trump of an impending recession depression. Canadian business tycoon Kirk Lubimov have also stated the same. Nikki Haley, she has stated that why is India and ally being punished? They are just a second largest buyer. China being the largest buyer of Russian oil and Iranian oil has been given the 90-day waiver. Why? Reports have surfaced about a mysterious illness about Donald Trump. There were rumors which were planted that of his having an affair with Press Secretary Carolina Leavitt. See, in America, things have started moving against Trump. The discussion on Epstein files have started as well. Things are not looking good for Trump. The pushback has started. You can't always punch your opponent. You need to take some punches.
Yes. And sir, because you spoke about this holding the engines and giving it, they were talking about supplies deficiency and all that, which I know might be discounted. But there is a reality to the resource hegemony also. For example, in the rare earths, whatever data I have, I think that China holds around 90% of the sourcing and 60% of the processing, or the figures might be inverted. I do not remember.
No, let me correct you. 70% of the sourcing, 90% of refining, 97% of recycling.
Yeah, yes, fantastic. And what, in terms of resources, I saw another sequence of events which intrigued me. There was this LAC issue that was going on between China and India at that time. And during that time only, India announced that there is a lithium reserve of, I think, 26,000 crores. You are better with remembering numbers, so I'm just throwing out the figure.
No, it is like around some 5 million tons, 5.9 million tons of lithium reserves in Kashmir.
And post this declaration, I think Americans came up with this statement. I saw the government giving up a statement that the McMahon line or the LSC, we recognize this as the official border between India and China. And we also heard a few things that India is seeking technological assistance from American partners for this processing of the lithium there, because we did not develop a technology for a few decades. The resource was known, but we did not develop any technologies to extract it and process it for our own benefits due to whatever reasons. Do you think it's right now black and white between India or and what are there are many other resource related information that are coming up, like you were already speaking about Chhattisgarh, and there is the Andaman oil reserves, gold reserves.
Let me summarize it to you in a nutshell. We got lithium reserves in Kashmir. We found additional oil reserves in Bombay High. We found oil reserves in Dibrugarh. We found oil reserves in Samastipur. We found oil reserves in Balia, the Ganges. Even we have found the oil reserves in West Bengal, the largest of all the oil reserves, hydrocarbons. We found it in Andaman. They say the reserves is equivalent to the reserves of the Middle East. And if we are able to extract that for the next 70 years, we don't need to import any oil or gas for the next 70 years. Understand? Below, if you see below the Andaman, there is a Sumatra belt. Indonesia extracts hydrocarbons per day. They produce around 700,000 barrels per day of crude oil from the ocean belt. India has already invested 72,000 crores in the Nicobar, Andaman and Nicobar. They are now strengthening that area. Also, we are going for Samudrayan exploration of rare earth minerals beneath the sea. That has also started. Rare earth minerals were found in Rajasthan. Gold reserves were found in Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh. The ore size is 335,000 tons of ores are there. Similarly, Orissa Mines is mining the same thing in Orissa. Many areas, I don't remember the names. Koenjar area is there, or the entire state. They have around 20 areas. They are finding that reserves. Recently, yesterday itself in Chhattisgarh, Deccan Gold Mines, which is going to operate the Kolar Gold Mines as well, has found reserves of nickel, cobalt, and platinum grade in Chhattisgarh. All of these are being used in defense, aerospace, renewable energy, catalytic converters, hypersonic missiles, batteries, the coating composite materials, and everything. So India is now actually giving PLI schemes for people to bring the technology, process it. They have given 50 years of lease also. And by the way, by clamping down on NGOs,
Could you repeat?
they have avoided frivolous petitions which are being posted in our Supreme Court to stop the development of Bharat. You saw what happened with the Vedanta plant in Tuticorin. You remember the POSCO plant in South Korea. They abandoned the projects. All these environmental concerns raised by NGO are sham. These NGOs are now under the scanner of the government. And that is the reason we were not able to develop ourselves during the UPA regime. And the last 10 regime, the government created an infrastructure for developing the mines within the country. We have all the resources. But all the environmentalists have the problem with the growth of India. They will come with all the frivolous things. They will be sitting in the AC chambers, enjoying the plush things, The global media will amplify things. This is what I would like to say.
Okay, sir. I think we had a great discussion, and I think I will indulge in disturbing you once again for a few more discussions on certain other topics if you give me permission.
I would like some more time to think, because this discussion was really comprehensive, and lot of things have to be analyzed which are not being stated in the media. We have to relate it also. We have to. I have to check the reports, facts and figures, and I do have my different theory altogether, which is not being reported in the media, which is they don't even discuss that.
But this was very educational for me also.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much, and we will definitely keep on having such discussions in future as well.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your time.
Hope you enjoyed this video. If this video added value to you, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Share this video with a friend who may find this helpful. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.